Here, and this is my Module 3 assignment for EDL 954, looking at the state aid for district's budget. Table and contents, I'm going to give a brief district overview of my district and look at the different data points that I was able to find on the KSDE Data Central budget links. USD 310 Fairfield, we are a small 8-man school in western Reno County, 1 mile north of Langdon, Kansas. And Langdon is pretty much a 4-way stop with blinky lights, our bus barn, a couple of houses, and a paint shop, and that is all that is about there. We are out in the middle of a field. We are a pre-K through 12 building, and we also house a daycare center right here in this building. So we service students from 8 weeks old-ish to when they graduate high school. So we have everybody here on one site, which has its advantages and, of course, some disadvantages to it also. Looking at our assessed valuation, total valuation, we have just over $45 million. General fund valuation is lower at just over $40 million, with capital outlay and local option budget, the same, just over $45 million for per pupil valuation of just over $168,000. Looking at our current cash balances in the federal, we have a negative in there, but everything else, we are pretty financially healthy. Working with my superintendent on this, that comparing to prior years, we are just about right where we need to be, if not higher in some areas like capital outlay, gifts and grants, contingency reserve. Those areas we are higher than what we've been in the past. We have a lot of ESSER money still coming in for an HVAC upgrade that we're getting ready to do this summer, and some projects used with capital outlay. We have had quite a bit of expenditures out of that, but I'll get to that in the next slide, for a total cash balance of just over $1.7 million. General state aid for this year was just over $3.1 million, and I have seen some of these payments coming in, being up in the district office doing the finances. It comes to our board clerk. She makes the deposit, sends it over to me. I do the revenue entry to our district accounting program and put it in the right code, and then use it for district expenditures, which are total budgeted is just over $5.9 million, and that is down about 6% from the previous year. Coming off COVID, of course, like everybody else, we had some pretty high expenditures using gifts and grants and things like that for cleaning supplies, sanitation, scanners, whatever it might be, spending a lot more money. But this year we're about where we normally were prior to COVID, and then spending at about just over $22,000 per pupil. Our free and reduced enrollment, we have 144 students that qualify for free lunches at just over 50%, 23 students for reduced, just over 8%, for a total of 167 students qualifying for free and reduced, and almost 59% of our student body. And this is down from years past. Prior to COVID, we were high 60s, low 70s, some years even high 70s, but we're having a hard time having families fill the proper paperwork out to get qualified for whatever reason. So we've been really pushing that enrollment and throughout the year of getting the paperwork filled out so they can qualify for the needed services. Headcount enrollment as of September 20th was 269. We have 12 students in the pre-K3 at risk, pre-K4 at risk. We had 13. We do house all-day preschool here for 3 and 4-year-olds. They're bused to and from school. We have car seats installed, or buses that have the seats with car seats already built into them. We have a pretty strong pre-K program here, and they are housed in the same building. Kindergarten, we have 20 students, and they are serviced here all day also, bused to and from school just like everybody else. So with our K through 5 enrollment at 113 students, and then pre-K through 5, which is my building that I'm in charge of, where we had 145. We are currently up to 147 students. as of just today. So grades 6 through 8, 63 students, and grades 9 through 12, 78 students. Meal pricing for elementary school is $1.85 per meal, and middle school, $1.85 per meal. For high school, it's $1.95 per meal, and the reduced price is 40 cents. And then breakfast prices for our district are still free. Looking at the different mill rates for the general fund, just at 20 mills. Supplemental general at 20.248 mils, capital outlay 7.999 mils, bond and interest 9.216 mils, and a total for 57.463 mils is where our district stands right now. Certified personnel, we have one superintendent, no assistants or anything, two principals, two pre-K teachers, two kindergarten teachers, other teachers, 21.6. We do have some part-time teachers and things like that. We have one nurse, one social worker, and one reading teacher. That is our title teacher for a total of 30.6. Looking at certified or classified personnel, I have one business manager. That person that was reported, she resigned her position in December. I took over some of those duties, but we just hired a new one that I'm training right now. One maintenance director, three custodians, one food service director who also serves as head cook with three other kitchen staff, one transportation director, 10 drivers, that 8 of those are regular route drivers, and then an activity driver and a sub, technology director, 0.5, one library aide, one social services director, regular education teacher aides, we have 3, 5 Rule 10 coaches, central office secretary, we have 1, school office secretary, we have 2, for a grand total of 34.5 classified personnel. Looking at salaries for the superintendent, the total contracted salary is $102,824. For the two principals, the average salary was $72,026, but with fringe benefits and everything, average total of $80,174. For our teachers, average salary is $46,416. Average supplemental duties, $3,989. With benefits, just over $7,000. So for an average total for our teachers of $57,726. School bonds, principal outstanding is just over $5.4 million. That is the total principal outstanding to. The principal retired is $220,000. So as of June 30th of 2022, just over $5.2 million of principal outstanding. Transportation, number of pupils transported, 261. And if you remember, we had a head count of 269. All students are assigned a bus, but some do travel. Number of routes, we have 8 full-time routes with a total of over 95,000 miles traveled. We have a VOTEC route that goes to Hutchinson Community College that travels about 10,000 miles per year. Our special ed activity or special ed routes, transporting students to our RCEC, the co-op in Hutch, and different schools around our area, just over 21,000 miles. And then our activity routes at about 4,400 miles. Looking at costs and headcount for regular bus routes, summer school, and VOTEC, we spend just over $200,000. Activity routes, just over $40,000, and for special education, almost $70,000, for a grand total of $328,297. And looking at our bus driver numbers here, we have 6 male drivers and 12 female drivers, and as of this year, no accidents to report. District statistics. Our area is 435 square miles. We are a very large geographical district, but as you can see from our density, we are not very populated. pupils transported greater than 2.5 miles is 258 out of our 261. And pupils that are not transported over 2.5 miles, and I can tell you exactly who these students are because I know where they live, right outside or right around in Langdon. We only have 3 of those. So total cost of $220,530, and cost per pupil of about $845. So summary, although USD 310 is a very large geographical area, our enrollment has declined. Being from around this area, I know when I was in high school in the early 2000s, this was still a small 3A, moved down to 2A. So enrollment has declined in the past 20 years, a lot of that, and similar in all very rural districts that used to have the many small town or small family farms all over the place, and now it's those are going kind of by the wayside, and that if you don't own a lot of land, it's going to be hard to function in the area. So a lot of families have moved out. We do have a pretty high turnover rate in student enrollment, people coming in, coming out. We do find being out here in Western Reno County, it's sometimes they're coming out here to get away from rent. They're trying to get away from whatever it might be in these small 6 towns that incorporate our district. Almost all of our students are transported to campus, and they live further than the 2.5 miles away. And like I said, I can name exactly the 3 students who they are that live the closest, but most of ours live over 5 miles away at least. In our small towns, the closest town we have is 7 miles away. The furthest one is about 15. So we have students that sometimes get on the bus very early in the morning and don't get off until very late, and they're almost on the bus at school and not home until 13 hours later almost. So it is very hard on some of our kids, that it's some very long days. All salaries are below the state average. That is from classified personnel, bus drivers, all the way up to administration. We are below the state average. But financially, the district is healthy, and we maximize the funds we receive to the fullest. Being able to work with some of these finances coming in and working with my superintendent, it's kind of opened my eyes to the different revenue that comes into our district. So credits, Slides Mania is where I got this template from, KSDE for their reports from Data Central, and the K-12 reports and the Finance Warehouse reports, and also to the screen sharing device I'm using today.